Right, welcome to the stream, guys. No one's in streaming at the moment, but I'm pretty sure we will go up in views as the game starts. If you're just joining the stream whilst I'm reading out the lineup: Sheffield United lineup: Henderson, Baldock, Bassham, Egan, O'Connell, Stevens, Lundstrom, Evans, Fleck, Clark and McGoldrick. Substitutes for them: Morse, Stearman, Duffy, Lafferty, Leonard, Sharp and Woodburn. So Sharp's on the bench. McGoldrick, new signing, is starting for them. And Swansea's lineup: Nordveld, Roberts, Van der Hoorn, Fernandez, Olsen, Fulton, Carroll, Selina, Asoro, Barry McKay and Ollie McBurney. And substitutes for them is Mulder, Amat, Rondon, Danda, Grims. And that's their manager, yeah, sure. Montero, who's back in the Swansea team, surprisingly, although they got relegated. And Nathan Dyer. If you missed the other streams, these are the championship results from earlier on today. Game starts in 5 minutes, so we are going to get this all set up. We're gonna move the sub count here. We're nearly at 40,000 total views. That's mad for me only having 522 subs. We're gonna get a live chat up now. I need to sort the camera a bit actually. A bit more forward to the left. I see a bit up a bit more. Right. Wait, more to the left. Up a bit like that. That should be okay. No, we need to go to the right. Right, there we go. We'll sort that out. We'll use pop out chat. Have it like that big. No, we need it like halfway actually, because we're going to use the sub count and the other half. Or we can make this yeah, that's good. And then we'll have the chat like that. I say that's pretty good. And then we'll have the commentary and the possession stats and stuff over here. Put that back on, put that back on. And then I'll try and get the commentary up now. It should be starting any minute now. Swansea's first game in the Championship for a couple years. I think they'll reach the playoffs, so I don't think they'll win it though. I think it'll probably be Nottingham Forest winning the playoffs or Stoke. I don't know yet. Depends how Stoke done the first game. I may do a commentary of that, but it starts like 15 minutes before the Chelsea-Man City game ends, which I'm going to do a commentary of tomorrow. Let me reload this because it's not working. Got 2 minutes to kick off, so it should start any second now, the commentary. And that's just gone off for some reason. Probably because it's about to start. Right, here we go. Sheffield United v Swansea. Commentary. Alright, so it's about to start any minute now. It's just If you're in the Derby Reading stream at half time, you would know what it was doing. It's doing that repeating thing again. So I'm just going to keep my thing over it so you can't hear it until it does start. 1 minute to the game starts, so I'm just going to... Yeah, it's about to do that thing. Right there, I'll put it on there.
Championship campaigns underway this evening. The Blades looking to build on last season's top 10 finish, while Swansea, they're playing at this level for the first time since 2011, following relegation from the Premier League last term. United include 3 summer signings in their starting lineup: Dean Henderson, David McGoldrick and John Egan. Ben Woodburn, loan signing from Liverpool, is only on the bench. For Swansea, 3 summer signings in the lineup for them as well: Barry Mackay, Bersan Shalina and Joel Asoro. It's a 5:30 kick-off, this one, Sheffield United against Swansea. Sheffield United and Swansea will get their championship campaigns underway this evening. The Blades looking to build on last season's top 10 finish, while Swansea, they're playing at this level for the first time since 2011, following relegation from the Premier League last term. United include 3 summer signings in their...
That's doing the repeating thing, yeah. I'm just going to refresh the page. It should be starting because it's past right now. So it should be...
Barry Mackay, Bersan Shalina and Joel Asoro. It's a 5:30 kick-off, this one, Sheffield United against Swansea. Sheffield United and Swansea
should start in a second. I don't know why it's doing it when it's...
This evening, the Blades looking to build on last season's top 10 finish, while Swansea, they're playing at this level for the first time since 2011, following relegation from the Premier League last term. United include 3 summer signings in their starting lineup: Dean Henderson, David McGoldrick and John Egan. Ben Woodburn, loan signing from Liverpool, is only on the bench. For Swansea, 3 summer signings in the lineup for them as well: Barry Mackay, Bersan Shalina and Joel Asoro. It's a 5:30 kick-off, this one, Sheffield United against Swansea. And it's a very warm welcome along to our independent off-tube studio commentary of Sheffield United against Swansea City, the late game in the Championship this evening. It's already been a fantastic start to the new season in the EFL. Of course, Derby winning last night in the curtain raiser, last-minute winner for Frank Lampard's side to come from behind and win 2-1 at Reading. And we've seen some dramatic action over the first Saturday of the season as well. Brentford, probably the big winners, 5-1 at home against newly promoted Rotherham United. So this is the evening game. Sheffield United, 10th in the Championship last season, up against relegated Swansea, playing in the second tier of English football for the first time since 2011. So it's going to be interesting to see how new manager Graham Potter sets up with the Swans. For Sheffield United, Chris Wilder, the familiar face in the dugout. The match at Bramall Lane is just underway. Swansea looking to get on the... Sheffield United looking to get on the front foot early doors in their traditional red and white colours. Swansea in their change strip this evening, and United immediately into Swansea territory. Low ball into the box is half dealt with at the front post there by Van der Horn, but Sheffield United looking to keep things alive and perhaps push on early in this game. Jack O'Connell has it, pulls it back into the feet of John Fleck, and decent tempo this from the home side at the start of the game. It's myself, Tom McGarry and Paul Shabakowicz talking you through this evening's coverage. Sheffield United now look to come forward down their right-hand side. We'll get Paul's thoughts in a second. In fact, we'll get an opportunity now as Federico Fernandez has cleared the ball out of play for Swansea. Fast out there, though, Paul, from Sheffield United.
It is, yeah. They're a good home side. They proved that last season. They had an excellent start to last season, petered out towards sort of the end of the season and finishing in mid-table, but they were very much in the playoff mix for most of the first half of the season. And they'll be looking to get a similar start in this campaign as well. Up against the Swansea City side, of course, who a lot of pundits haven't been tipping as that side they're going to naturally bounce back after one season. A lot has been said about Stoke and West Brom. West Brom, of course, losing their first game to Bolton this afternoon. But it's going to take quite a bit, I think, for Swansea to prove that they are very much a side that aren't going to be pushing for promotion.
Yeah, some people have been talking about them perhaps are struggling, certainly in mid-table, but it remains to be seen. They haven't made the greatest start to this game, as we've just seen another decent ball into the box there from Jack O'Connell down the left-hand side. John Fleck involved as well for Sheffield United, and it wasn't the most convincing defending from Swansea at the front post, of course, as happens with a lot of sides when they're relegated from the Premier League. They tend to lose their best players. Alfie Mawson, the most recent of those to go, the centre-back, joining Fulham earlier this week. No Lucas Fabianski between the sticks anymore for Swansea as well. Christopher Nordfeldt is the man who's been given the gloves today, but it's all Sheffield United at the start of this match. George Baldock leading the latest charge forward, but Jay Fulton has won possession back for Swansea, with the ball then played forward looking towards Chelina, breaking down the left-hand side, but that goes harmlessly out of play for a throw-in to Sheffield United midway inside their own half. 3.5 minutes on the clock in the late game in the Championship. Sheffield United 0, Swansea 0. It's Sheffield United goalkeeper, one of their debutants today, Dean Henderson, on loan for Manchester United, looking long towards another one of the new boys, David McGoldrick, a free transfer from Ipswich. Doesn't quite stick with him, and in fact Swansea now win a throw-in on halfway. Barry Mackay, one of their debutants, 3 debutants apiece in the starting lineup today if you missed the team news for both these teams. Mackay, one of Swansea's, joining from Nottingham Forest for an undisclosed fee. But this is the first chance Swansea really have to try and put their foot on the ball, but as I say that, Jay Fulton under pressure there has lost out, so it'll be Sheffield United's throw-in on halfway. And it does seem like the Blades are looking to settle the quicker. Not that surprising, really. They've got the home crowd behind them, and I imagine both these teams have been chomping at the bit to get out there after watching so much action this afternoon. As now Swansea looking to come forward. Asoro works the ball out to the left-hand side. Chelina tries a trick. He's almost sandwiched between 2 Sheffield United defenders, and the referee has gave a foul against John Lundstrom there. It's looked a little bit softer on first viewing. It's Tom Carroll who's gone down with the turn.
There's a grazing of the knee there, I think, at worst. I think there's very little contact, really, and I can see why Lundstrom was a bit frustrated. Basham was there first. I didn't think there was anything wrong with what he did, and there wasn't all that much wrong with what Lundstrom did, but this, out of a very sort of slow start for Swansea in terms of any attacking position, they've now got a very good chance.
Yeah, first real opportunity for either side to get the ball into the box from a set piece. Van der Horn and Fernandes, the obvious targets, coming forward from the back. Chance for Swansea to whip this ball in. It's Connor Roberts standing over it. It's about to send it in right-footed in swinger. It's a deep one, a bit too deep really, and it's comfortable in the end. A claim for Dean Henderson, who slips as he tries to quickly distribute the ball away. But when you get an opportunity like that, it's a free kick in such a promising position. Swansea haven't had much of the ball early doors. Probably got to do a little bit better.
They do, yeah. They've got to try and use that opportunity, but they get the ball back straight away. A chance here now for Asoro down the right-hand side.
Yeah, Asoro plays into the feet of Oliver McBurney. Now a chance for Swansea to settle into possession. Carroll finds Mackay. Mackay now into Asoro, shows good strength, and he turns away from his man nicely, and it'll be another free kick for Swansea in a dangerous position. Ender Stevens there getting too touch tight to Joel Asoro, a summer arrival from Sunderland, and he does obstruct him, does pull him down.
He does, but I mean, again, you can see why Stevens is frustrated. There's a little bit of contact, but then you could also say that really the Swansea man just tripped a little bit on Ender Stevens there. But good opportunity again for Swansea, this time over on the right-hand side, and it is Bersant Selina standing over it.
Yeah, with the number 10 on his back, the loan signing for Manchester, the former Manchester City man was on loan at Ipswich last season. He's standing over. There is a left-footed option there as well in Martin Olsen. He might fancy a direct strike towards goal if he steps up, and it is the Swede. He does go for goal, and it stings the palms of Dean Henderson. A routine save, you would say, really, in the end for the Sheffield United goalkeeper. Decent strike from Olsen, a sighter for him.
It is a sighter for him, as you said, but he was concentrating so much on keeping it on target. He never really got the power or the curl. And although the goalkeeper just had to bounce that one into the ground, you always felt as though Henderson was going to make the save.
Yeah, first shot, though, that we've really seen in this match, and after Sheffield United's bright start, Swansea starting to see a little bit more of the ball, and they've won it back now with Selina. Fulton then plays a good ball forward, looking to unleash the pace of Joel Asoro, but it's well read by Jack O'Connell, coming across, sliding in, and clears the ball out of play into touch. Will be a Swansea throw-in, just about level with the Sheffield United penalty area. Connor Roberts is the man who's going to take it. He's got Chelina and Asoro as options. Doesn't find either as Stevens clears the ball away. Leon Clark then involved in some link-up play, and the ball sent forward from Chris Basham, looking towards David McGoldrick, who hasn't managed to get involved in the game so far. Then there's a poor clearance from O'Connell for Sheffield United. He gets a second bite of the cherry. And finally, the Blades can clear up towards halfway, but it's Swansea in possession and just starting to get towards those second balls a little bit quicker, the Swans. It's Jay Fulton out to Roberts on the right-hand side. Fulton continues his run. Good football between the Swansea youngsters. Now Joe Lasoro looking to get towards the byline, but he shows too much of that to Stevens, who nips in and can half clear his lines once again. And in fact, because of a poor header from Bersan Selina, Sheffield United's pressure has now disappeared and they have a throw-in.
We've had just about 8 minutes on the clock. In the first 4 minutes, you have to say Swansea couldn't get out of their own half, and then the next 4 minutes is Sheffield United that can't get out of their own half. And they put a bit of pressure here on the home side, Graham Potter's men.
Bright start at Bramall Lane. It's still Sheffield United 0, Swansea 0. The home side certainly got out the traps quicker without creating too many chances. A few crosses into the box from the likes of John Fleck and Enda Stevens down the left-hand side, which Swansea dealt with comfortably enough. Gradually, though, the Swans are starting to grow into the game. They've had a couple of free kicks and the first shot in anger from one of those set pieces. Martin Olsen stinging the palms of Sheffield United goalkeeper and debutant Dean Henderson. So it's bubbling under the surface, this one, toing and throwing. Not too much goal-mouth action so far, though. It's Sheffield United 0, Swansea 0.
Yes, still goalless here in the early stages, but it is Sheffield United now trying to break out of their own half. The ball is down the left-hand side. Enda Stevens at the edge of the area tries to play a quick 1-2 there with John Fleck. Ball kept alive now by Clark. He goes back towards O'Connell, who's going down the left-hand side. He wants a free kick. He would say that the contact he had there was similar to the contact that won Swansea a free kick earlier on in the half. But referee Jeremy Simpson is not interested. Would argue really that O'Connell runs into his man there a little bit more. Connor Roberts not really doing too much wrong there, and it is a goal kick now to Swansea City.
Yeah, chance for the Swans to get a bit of possession from the back. Christopher Nordveld, as I mentioned, the man who's been handed the gloves this afternoon by Graham Potter, and the Swede sends a long kick forward towards the left-hand side. Ball breaks nicely Swansea's way. It's Carroll trying to make a movement down the left flank. He might get a second bite of the cherry now, the former Tottenham man. Ball work now to Barry Mackay, who's looking for a little bit of support. Dinks a nice looking ball into Jay Fulton on the edge of the area. His chest control under pressure, though, was a little bit heavy, but again, Sheffield United struggling to clear their lines, and they'll be grateful towards the referee that he's awarded a free kick against Oliver McBurney. I'm not sure if it was an offside flag raised. If not, probably a judge thinking he was backing in.
Yeah, just a little bit there from McBurney. I mean, he'll be looking to do well this season. He scored a lot of goals for relegated Barnsley last year on loan from Swansea City, so you could say that he's got the measure and the experience in this division already.
Yeah, it was a really important loan spell, you would suggest, for Oliver McBurney, and it could be one of those blessings in disguise for players like him. Connor Roberts as well, Jay Fulton in the middle of the park there. You can see a lot more game time than they would have had Swansea survived in the Premier League.
Carroll as well is another one I think you probably would have expected to have played a bit more, but now a chance here for Sheffield United.
Yeah, Leon Clark down the left-hand side. Good pull back to McGoldrick, whose touch is a little bit heavy. In goes Van der Horn with an important interception, and the ball breaks Swansea's way. It's flicked by Mackay down the right-hand channel, looking towards a Soro, probably asking too much of the winger, and Enda Stevens and Jack O'Connell between them can deal with it, and they can now bring the ball forward from the back. Sheffield United. John Egan out to George Baldock on the right-hand side. Back in towards Egan again, another one of the new arrivals coming in from Brentford. It's now O'Connell. He's been linked with a move away from Sheffield United, hasn't he, in a move to the Premier League? Perhaps Brighton, the club most heavily linked with him. Now Stevens down the left-hand side. Direct ball into the box from him is over the head of McGoldrick, and scampering on the far side, trying to keep it in, was Baldock. It'll go all the way out to play for a Swansea throw-in. Half opening there for David McGoldrick. I just don't think he could get the touch. If the touch was tighter, he might have been able to have a shot towards goal.
He would have had a chance there. Yeah, the game just got a little bit disjointed in these last few minutes. Better start for Sheffield United than a quick response from Swansea. Now the last couple of minutes, you'd have to say that Sheffield United are starting to see a bit more of the ball, but it's not quite as direct as it was in the early stages.
Yeah, Ben Woodburn, of course, on the bench for Sheffield United, signing on loan for the season.
That's a good signing.
Yeah, it is from Liverpool, yeah, and he will provide something different, because if you're looking at McGoldrick and Clark up front, physical presences, the two of them similar in their styles of play, so Woodburn just gives United a plan B, whether that's from the bench or gradually.
I just wonder if Sheffield United kept that one. Well, they obviously must have wanted to keep it as secret for as long as possible, because with no disrespect to Sheffield United, but maybe sides even higher up the table, sides with even higher ambitions, had they been aware that Woodburn was available for London, they might have looked at him as well. But he'll get into that side, and I think he'll have certainly a regular starting place once he gets into the side. He's showed flashes for Liverpool last season. It was very good.
A lovely touch there from David McGoldrick to flick the ball out to the right-hand side for Sheffield United. Baldock's cross into the box is deep, too deep for Clark, but Stevens gathers now. He pulls the ball back into the feet of Fleck. That's an interesting ball around the corner. He's looking towards the run of Leon Clark, who may well have been offside. It didn't matter in the end because the pass was slightly overhit, and it'll go to play for a Swansea throw-in. But yeah, Woodburn will be a good signing, you suspect, for Sheffield United. I think Aston Villa were the side who were also linked with him, so a bit of a coup for Chris Wilder's side to get him in just a couple of days ago. No trouble on the score sheet so far in this game. Nearly 13 minutes on the clock. Independent off-tube studio commentary. Sheffield United 0, Swansea 0. Much goal mouth action either, as McGoldrick jostling for the ball in the middle of the park for Sheffield United with Fulton. He won the initial flick on. Now Baldock for United sends it long towards Leon Clark, and the loose ball might actually break Clark's way. He flicks it infield towards McGoldrick. Difficult one for him to try and control. He then puts in a strong fair challenge. Loved a fair challenge on Mike van der Horn, but the referee, after a moment's pause, has given the free kick. McGoldrick certainly got plenty of the ball, but I think it's fair to say he also got plenty of Mike van der Horn.
He did, yeah. That's what the referee decided. That there was certainly a touch on the ball, but it was the way that Van der Horn was taken down, as we can see from the reverse angle. He certainly gets the ball first, but it's the way he brings Van der Horn down. I think the referee didn't like.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's not a foul, is it? 15, 20 years ago, he gets the ball first, but he goes through Mike van der Horn with the follow through, and yeah, you can't really do that in this day and age. You can understand, though, David McGoldrick's frustration. Swansea have taken the free kick. It's with Connor Roberts goes infield to Tom Carroll. Now Van der Horn, who's okay after that challenge. Plenty of time on the ball for him. Rolls it into Tom Carroll once more. Very tiny player in the middle of the park, Tom Carroll. Left-footed, and he rolls the ball out to Olsen before receiving it once again. We know Swansea in the past, certainly during the early time when they were in the Premier League, like to get the ball down, like to pass it around. It'll be interesting to see if Graham Potter tries to get them back to playing in that kind of style. At the moment, it looks like that, as Van der Horn now has possession. Space on the left-hand side for Olsen, and he's found by Van der Horn's switch. Olsen can now drive forward, of course, part of the Sweden squad that got to the quarter-finals of this summer's World Cup. It's now Fernandes in the middle of the park for Swansea. Sheffield United happy to sit back and allow Swansea to have possession in those kind of areas, and it allowed Fernandes to assess his options, and it was a decent idea of a pass out towards Mackay on the left-hand side. Just the way it skipped off the turf, it was always taken away from the Scot.
Just a bit too quick for him, wasn't it? But it was necessary, really, for Swansea to try and play a quick long ball out after another good 5-minute spell where Sheffield United were pushing them back into their own penalty area. The one worry, I suppose, for Chris Wilder would be that in that whole spell, didn't really get any kind of shots away to bother Norvell.
Yeah, they probably need to try and get Clark and McGoldrick more involved inside the Swansea penalty area. A bit of hold-up play for those two strikers so far, but they haven't managed to link up as much as they would like. They might get an opportunity now, because that's a really poor crossfield pass from Swansea's point of view that's gone straight out of play. There's a very interesting spectator in the crowd at Bramall Lane this evening, I can tell you. Harry Maguire, former Sheffield United player, is watching on. I presume he's supporting the Blades, former club. I think he's from Sheffield as well.
He is, yeah. The question is he on his way to Manchester after this game? It's not too far from Sheffield, is it? Of course, all the rumours about what's going to be happening with Maguire, and of course with the transfer window closing this week, it's going to happen fairly soon, if it's going to happen at all.
That's it. Thursday, the window closes for Premier League clubs, and it's going to be very interesting. Lots of speculation between now and then, as ball played into the box there from Fleck for Sheffield United, cleared away comfortably enough by Federico Fernandes, and he's not got the captain's armband of his Steve. I think it's his central defensive colleague Mike van der Horn who's skippering the Swans, but Fernandes did captain Swansea on a number of occasions in the Premier League, and there's a couple of good leaders at the heart of Swansea's defences. Now Sheffield United come forward once again. Stevens, who's got a number of crosses into the box already in this game. This one was blocked away by Roberts, but another opportunity now for Sheffield United from the throw-in. Stevens finds Fleck, who returns to the fullback. First time ball deep towards the far post, headed away by Olsen. Second ball breaks to Jack O'Connell, who heads it back towards the edge of the Swansea penalty area. Swans eventually clear it away, but it's not sticking with Oliver McBurney at the moment from their point of view. And back come Sheffield United once again, this time down their right-hand side. Baldock has it, rolls it back into the feet of Lundstrom. Good tidy play down the right flank for Sheffield United. Can they engineer some space for a cross or a shot? Clark's coming to the edge of the box to get involved, tries to slide rule the ball through, but Swansea's a brick wall there. Players in front of Leon Clark, and Sheffield United now have to go back and out to the right-hand side once again, but they're showing they can keep hold of the ball. The Blades are not rushing the issue and happy to bide their time as Clark now edge of the Swansea box once more, out to Lundstrom, who clips the ball into the penalty area over the head of the on-rushing Sheffield United player, and Van der Hoorn can clear it away. But Sheffield United happy to play football as well.
Nice bit of possession there from Sheffield United, comfortable as you said, nice one-touch stuff, no rush to get that ball into the box too soon. Perhaps they could have looked to try and get a ball in, but at the same time Swansea were well organised at the edge of the area, so it wasn't an easy pass. It's a huge ball now, goes over the top, but that one is straight into the arms of Northveld.
Yeah, I mean, the temptation has to be there, doesn't it, from a Sheffield United point of view, when you've got McGoldrick and Clark to go long more often than not. But they show there, they're not afraid to pass the ball around. They do have the players to do it. John Fleck in particular in the midfield is a very tidy footballer.
He is, and also Fernandes and Van der Hoorn. I mean, most centre-backs are obviously very good in the air, but those two in particular are very good with the head, and it's going to be difficult for McGoldrick or Clark to get that easy header towards goal.
Swansea now with Mike Van der Hoorn are in possession. He's got options down his right-hand side, finds Roberts now infield, good ball as well to pick out Ollie McBurney, who rolls it back into Federico Fernandes. Swansea move it from right to left. Olsen takes over. He's got a man outside him in Barry Mackay. He chooses to use the Scotland international, who goes back infield towards Carroll. Tidy from Swansea. Tom Carroll now into the feet of McBurney. You can see what he's trying to do, looking for the on-rushing. Mackay's just behind his fellow Scot and goes out to play for a throw-in. But Swansea, they probably need to get Oliver McBurney more involved. He hasn't seen enough of the ball as of yet.
He hasn't seen enough of the ball. They've not seen enough of the ball in attack. We've had nearly 20 minutes now, and really you can only say that a 4 or 5 minute spell of that was where Swansea looked like the side more likely to go forward. The rest of the time they have been pushed back in their own half.
Yeah, it's certainly been Sheffield United in the ascendancy more often than not, as George Baldock takes a throw-in for them, finds Clark, who flicks it onto McGoldrick. He sends a good ball down the line, and Leon Clark, he may be past the age of 30 now, but he showed a good clean pair of heels to get to the ball first, and a good ball down the line as well. This could be an opportunity for Sheffield United. McGoldrick has a great cross into the box, and it's a really good piece of defending from Connor Roberts. He wasn't sure what was behind him. I think it was Fleck lurking for Sheffield United, and over his shoulder he hooks the ball out of play for a corner. But that was really good counter-attacking from the home side.
It was very good, as you said, and it was a vital touch there from Roberts to get that ball away, because Sheffield United had a man over as well. But it is a good opportunity now. Lee Evans with the corner kick, first corner kick of the game.
Yeah, chance to whip it in. Evans goes short though to Clark. You know, got a better angle to whip it in. Evans, that's a great ball in as well. It's just a yard over the head of Jack O'Connell in the end, always rising. McGoldrick was trying to get in there as well, really fizzed in with pace from Evans. It's not a million miles away.
Too much height on that, wasn't there? But the idea certainly was very good. We'll see from the reverse angle as well. Just a little bit too high, really, for Egan or O'Connell to get near that one. But it was a very good opportunity. It's a good corner kick routine.
Yeah, they worked it short and worked it nicely. Called Swansea a little bit napping, perhaps, there. We've passed the 20-minute mark. Still Sheffield United 0. Swansea 0, the first game of the championship season for both these two sides, as Nordveldt's goal kick goes long. He'll actually go through to his opposite number, Henderson, and Sheffield United can settle into possession at the back. Egan across to O'Connell. O'Connell now able to settle on the ball. Swansea have retreated deep towards almost the halfway line, although Burnley not applying any kind of press, so Egan and O'Connell can just take possession. Stevens gets involved. It's O'Connell runs more now. Back into Egan again. He goes long for the diagonal out towards the right-hand side, just asking a little bit too much. The man Lee Evans out on the right flank, and it goes over the top and out of play for throw into Swansea. You mentioned Harry Maguire is in the stands, and we can understand the logic behind that. A Sheffield lad, former Sheffield United player. I'm not sure why Manchester United's Antonio Valencia is necessarily watching this game, though.
That is a strange one. I mean, Mourinho did say that Valencia's fitness levels perhaps weren't up to scratch, so maybe there'll be a shock transfer down to the Championship of Valencia. But in all seriousness, I mean, that is a surprise. It might just be that he's got the Saturday off, and he felt like taking a game that's quite local to him.
It remains goalless at Bramall Lane between Sheffield United and Swansea, but it is safe to say that the Blades have been the better of the two sides so far without troubling Christopher Nordveldt's goal. There was a really nice counter-attack down the right-hand side from Sheffield United that almost led to a chance. David McGoldrick with a whipped right-footed ball into the box looked like it would pick out John Fleck, but for some last-ditch defending from Connor Roberts, who slid the ball out of play for a corner. From the resulting corner, the cross from Lee Evans came agonisingly close to finding both Jack O'Connell and John Egan. At the other end, Swansea are offering very little. It's the Blades on top, but it remains goalless.
It's still goalless, and we look at that last move. That there was a marginal offside which just stopped Sheffield United in their tracks, and now a ball cleared up towards the halfway line as Swansea doing what they can to just try and get this ball away from their own penalty area. But Lundstrom is there, and he finds McGoldrick, who plays a square ball now to Fleck. Fleck has a couple of options. He thought about a long-range effort, but just plays it across towards Ender Stevens. Stevens, left-hand edge of the penalty area, fires the ball across, which gets a slight deflection. McBurney is back into his own area, and then Van der Horn, did he trip McGoldrick there by accident? I don't think the referee saw it like that. In any case, it's still kept alive here with Fleck and Stevens on the left-hand side. Fleck's ball into the boxes, headed up in the air by Van der Horn, headed back in towards the 6-yard box from Baldock, but that one is cleared away.
Yeah, the defending's getting a little bit more last-ditch, though, from Swansea. That's lovely feet down the left-hand side from Barry Mackay just to ease the pressure, and now he picks out a good ball as well. Chelina out to the right-hand flank. Asoro hasn't seen much of the ball over the last 10 minutes. Can he run at Ender Stevens and get into a crossing angle? He ventures into the penalty area, goes beyond Stevens, crosses it into the 6-yard box, but it's well read and dealt with by Basham, who lashes the ball clear. We've only seen flashes of Joel Asoro so far, but he does look like he has the beating of Ender Stevens, and that could be an avenue for Swansea to try and exploit as this game develops. But it's been Sheffield United who have been the better side over the opening quarter of the match. Still goalless, though, in the contest at Bramall Lane. I'll hand you over now to Paul to see you through to the half-time whistle.
Thank you very much, Tom. And it's a throw-on to Swansea City at the edge of their own penalty, level with the edge of their own penalty area. 60% possession for Sheffield United, up to now 40% for Swansea. So the home side are seeing more of the ball. They're getting closer towards the penalty area. You can't really say they've tested Christopher Nordveld too many times so far. The long throw from Swansea is headed straight back towards their own penalty area. Mike van der Horn now having to hook it away. McBurney then with a header on towards the halfway line, but that's straight to Basham. And Sheffield United now back in possession with Egan's ball towards the penalty area, headed away by Van der Horn, picked up by Evans. That's a bit unlucky from Evans, because his pass deflected off referee Simpson, and that gave an opportunity now for Olsen to bring the ball forward.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate that the referee can't do anything about it as Lee Evans tries to float the ball out to the right-hand side. But Sheffield United continuing to try and play the football, and Swansea, we've seen the stat, they had 40% possession so far, but the vast majority of that has probably been between Van der Horn and Fernandes, hasn't it?
Certainly, there's been very little possession for Swansea in the opposition half, although just as we say that, they actually are in the opposition half. They have a chance to try and move the ball forward here with Selina. He's got a couple of options. One of them is a pass out towards the left-hand side for Mackay. That's well taken down. He then plays it square now towards Fulton. Back over on the left-hand side again. Chance to get the ball into the box. One-touch stuff there from Swansea, and the ball at the edge of the area, unfortunately for Olsen's point of view, just deflected off him as he ran into the box, and it's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was a decent idea, wasn't it? And it almost paid off. It just, Ryan Olsen couldn't quite take it in his stride. You could say maybe it was a little bit too intricate as well to a degree. But Swansea do have the attacking threat. Those wide players mentioned Asoro a few minutes ago, Barry Mackay as well. They seem to have the pace and trickery to take on their Sheffield United counterparts. It's just getting enough of the ball to them. Oliver McBurney as well. Selina's been very quiet. He looks a very talented player. We've seen that at Ipswich last season. These creative players aren't involved often enough for Swansea so far. You've got to give credit to Sheffield United from a defensive point of view as well, but he's expecting more from that quartet.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's absolutely right. Says Olsen is furious there. I mean, he climbed all over McGoldrick, and in all fairness, I didn't think Olsen got a touch of the ball. It was more likely it would have been a free kick in favour of Sheffield United for the foul that Olsen by climbing on McGoldrick, but that wasn't given. It was a throw-on which was taken quickly. Now there is a free kick to Sheffield United over on that right-hand side. Number 8, Lee Evans, is standing over. I think McBurney is just asking the referee for a bit of clarification on that last decision. And Jez Simpson isn't having any of it. He's just remonstrating there with McBurney. heads into the box now, of course. A very tall centre forward. He's very useful in defensive set pieces, of course, to try and help get this ball away. And Swansea doing what they can to keep an offside line as well, though it's not too deep, so there is space for Sheffield United players to get into the box. You can see Fernandes just beckoning his players to take a yard or two further forward as this ball is whipped in now from the right-hand side towards the far post. Again, just a little bit of too much pace on that. And was that O'Connell coming in at the far post there? I think it was, and he couldn't quite get to the head on that one in the end. And he may have even been offside by a foot as well.
Yeah, he possibly was. In any case, I think he timed his run was too early, wasn't it? He wasn't the only Sheffield United player. They were all caught in front of the ball when it was floated. They're not whipped in with enough pace, you could argue, but I don't think any of the Sheffield United attackers timed their run properly, and it's just a breakdown all round, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Ever present was Jack O'Connell last season. Didn't miss a game, so he's certainly be looking to carry that trend on this season. Very important player for Sheffield United. As the ball is now back in play in midfield, headed on by Leon Clark. He didn't quite get through to McGoldrick, and now it's Fulton who can lay it back towards Fernandes. Swansea with a bit of possession inside their own half, which is where they've had most of their possession. Tom was making that point just now. So they've struggled really to get any kind of attacking moves going. They've had moments, little flashes, but really to put any kind of sustained pressure on the Sheffield United defence, it hasn't happened. But now they've got a chance to go forward. Though McBurney, his pass is straight in towards Fleck, and then the ball is cleared away.
Yeah, he looks very isolated, Oliver McBurney, doesn't he? He's leading the line in the middle. The two wide players are very wide. They're very high up the pitch, but no one from the central areas is getting close enough, so there's a real lack of support when it comes into his feet. McBurney, he's got the two centre-backs around him, he's got the two holding midfielders in front of him. It's very difficult for him to engineer any kind of pass even.
It is. He's, as I say, let alone get the ball. Once he gets the ball, he's either going to hold it up and he's not got anybody up there with him. And he's been struggling really to get any kind of support at all. As we see Swansea City now enjoying at least a couple of minutes of possession, but it's still a long, long way away from Sheffield United's goal. And just as I say that, they actually lose possession on the halfway line. A chance now for the Blades to push forward. Here is John Fleck in midfield, heading towards the Swansea penalty area, out towards Baldock on the right-hand side. There's a chance for Tim Ham to get the ball in now. It's hooked in. Van der Hoorn with a sort of a jumping volley to get that one away. It's going to be a throw on to Sheffield United on the right-hand side. The ball's back into the penalty area. Attempted an overhead kick there from Evans. The loose ball is back in towards the penalty area. Should be Baldock able to keep this in play. Just gets away from Olsen, but Olsen doesn't dive in. He stays on his feet, and he's able to get a clearance away, which I think goes straight out for a throw. In all fairness, it's going to be a throw on pretty much where Olsen was stood. And again, good sustained pressure this from Sheffield United.
Yeah, they're pinning Swansea back, not creating, not getting enough shots or crosses in on goal, but you just sense that they're building up a little bit of momentum. They're moving it around tidy. They're winning that midfield battle. As you say, just need to get more ball into the box.
And here's a chance now for McGoldrick. He gets the ball in the box. So just a bit of a bouncing ball. He couldn't quite take it down first time. Loose ball is still kept alive here though by Baldock. Does that come off him in the end? I think it does. Sheffield United briefly looked towards the referee like they might be getting a corner kick, but it was Baldock in losing his balance that plays that one out for a goal kick.
Yeah, just looking at the two sides and the way they're lined up, I just think Swansea are a little bit lightweight, aren't they, in the middle of the park in particular. Jay Fulton's probably the one that they'll be asking to put his foot in, but it's very difficult for him to mix it up when he's up against Basham, Lundstram and Evans all in there. And that physical battle, not necessarily the desire, but that physicality and that presence is what's driving Sheffield United.
We only have to look, how often are we mentioning Evans, Fleck and Lundstram? The ball's going through them all the time, and now, just as we were seeing, we were just getting shots of a couple of ex-players and ex-managers in the stands, and now out of nowhere there's been a corner kick given to Sheffield United. We genuinely didn't have pictures of what happened there, but I can only assume it was a short goal kick between Nordfeldt and Olsen that went completely wrong, because now Sheffield United, as a gift really, have been given a corner kick exactly on 30 minutes. A good opportunity here. It's an in-swinger towards the near post. Good strong header away by Van der Hoorn, headed back in by Evans towards the left-hand edge of the penalty area. Oh, that's a bouncing ball which O'Connell couldn't quite control, and it's out for a throw.
Yeah, not the man you want at your centre-back in that kind of left-wing position, and O'Connell couldn't turn his man and keep control of possession. But statistic, most touches in the match so far, the three leading players in that are all Sheffield United players, which shows the dominance of Chris Wilder's side, but just no shots. That's what's going to disappoint Wilder, I think.
Yeah, as I say, the build-up is good enough. The finishing, well, there's not been a chance to have any finishing. It'd be interesting to see that list where the first Swansea City player comes on that list of players with touches as well.
I would imagine it would be either Van der Horn or Fernandes as well. It's not going to be one of the Swansea attacking players because they've been very, very limited. So the pattern of the game is, I don't think Sheffield United have done enough to take the lead because of the lack of goal-mouth action, but they're certainly the team in the ascendancy.
Absolutely, yes. And the point I was going to make before we got that surprise corner was that how often have we mentioned Carroll and Fulton, the two central midfielders for Swansea, compared to the three central midfielders for Sheffield United? They're just not seeing enough of the ball at all. But here is a chance now for Swansea. If this ball can be kept alive by Asoro, and it can, he has to cut back inside a little bit, but he's still got possession. Tries to chip the ball into the box. He's asking for a handball. As that ball just flicked past the Sheffield United player. The referee is not interested. Selina's trying to get the points across as well. That could have been a free kick. It would have been a dangerous position as well, just at the edge of the area.
Yeah, I'm not sure. At first glance there, Sora's trying to flick it through. I don't think the Sheffield United player could get his hand out the way. Sora probably should have been looking out to the right-hand side where Roberts was in a lot of space and made up a lot of ground. But he does look positive as Sora. You can see that he's a raw talent, still very young player, teenager, signed from Sunderland. But he's certainly got the potential to hurt defences, and it may well be he's one of the players that develops with Swansea as this season goes on. But at the moment, he does look their best outlet when they get possession.
He does, he really does. There's Ender Stevens there just checking his face. He got a bit of a knock, I think, from Asoro. Just gets hit. I wouldn't say it was an elbow to the face, but just sort of perhaps just grazed the arm slightly. I don't think there was any intent there from Asoro, but Stevens certainly felt that one. And it's just a throw on here to Sheffield United with the ball tipped up towards the halfway line. But it's now back into Swansea possession. The referee does spot a foul there from McBurney, and the home side can now move the ball out towards the right-hand side. One shot on goal in the game. Well, that is the most telling stat. For all the possession that Sheffield United have had, they've not had any shots on goal at all.
Yeah, the only shot in the match is that free kick from Martin Olsen, very early on, that was comfortably saved by Henderson. That could change now, though.
Yeah, here comes Stevens now, and he's got an overlap here from Fleck. Fleck plays the ball into the box. Now it's laid off for a chance for Evans, but his shot is charged down. It was very good. So you've got to say, it was very generous from Leon Clark. The centre forward, you felt, probably had enough space to spin and turn himself, but he lays it off. Shot is charged down, and now a free kick to Swansea at the edge of their own area.
Sheffield United 0, Swansea 0, and that scoreline probably reflects what we've seen in the first half so far. There's been limited opportunities for either side. Sheffield United continue to look the more likely of the two sides. Lee Evans has just had a rather tame effort from the edge of the box, blocked away by the Swansea defence. That's Sheffield United's only shot in the match so far. However, despite all of their dominance in terms of possession and territory, at the other end, Swansea's only shot was an early Martin Olsen free kick. It doesn't look like a classic, this one at the moment, and it remains 0-0.
Yep, it is still goalless, as we can see. Fernandes just checking himself out there, but he should be okay, I think. Just a quick splash of water on the face. He should be okay to play on. And as we said, we've had nearly 35 minutes in this game. There will be a couple of minutes of injury time as well for all the stoppages. Is this an unofficial drinks break because of the heat? I think it might, because all the players have sort of wandered over towards the halfway line now. Well, certainly quite a few had done. Now we're going to get a drop ball there, I think. After all of this, was it just going to be I think it was going to be a free kick to Swansea City anyway. And Norvelt's just waiting to take this one, having a quick conversation there with Van der Horn as well. Overall, you've got to say Swansea will be quite pleased because they've not really done too much in terms of an attack, but at the same time they've weathered the storm, and they'll feel as though if they just get that one chance, then McBurney might be able to finish it off.
Yeah, they're defending really stoutly, and I think you made the reference earlier on about Van der Horn and Fernandes being able to deal comfortably with the crosses into the box, and they have done so far. They've won every aerial duel, and I think Swansea are happy to defend in that kind of fashion. Sheffield United need to try and find something a little bit different to unlock the defence, which is looking pretty comfortable.
It really is, and Sheffield United now have got some defending to do. It's the first time that Swansea have got out of their half for a while. Connor Roberts, still under pressure, has to go back towards the halfway line where Fernandes and Van der Horn have had most of the possession for Swansea in this first half. There's Fernandes again under a bit of pressure from Goldrick, so he goes back towards Norvelt, a man who was pretty much always Swansea's sub-keeper during the Fabianski days. Looks like he's going to get a bit more of a chance to get some starts in the first team now. Be interested to see as well if Fabianski goes straight into the West Ham team or if he'll start off as second choice towards Adrian. We'll be interested as we see Chris Morgan there, of course. Now, there was a defender that didn't stand for anything really, did he? He was always very much in your face and always getting involved as well.
Yeah, no nonsense central defender, wasn't he? He was part of the Sheffield United team when they were last in the Premier League back 11 years ago. And now that we are having a lot of, in the coverage, we're getting a lot of people spotting in the crowd, which probably tells you what kind of game it's been so far.
Honestly, I think that's about 6 or 7 times then that we've been just shown. I mean, it's as I say, you get that every time you get any kind of live coverage, but it does seem as though they are struggling to fill the minutes here at times because there is a lot of halfway line possession, predominantly from Sheffield United, and very little end product in front of goal. Considering how many goals we've seen in the early games today, you could say that perhaps all the scoring's already been done for the Championship today.
Yeah, perhaps there's been so much earlier on that it's all dried up. Now, a lot of entertaining games. Brentford 5, Rotherham 1, as mentioned earlier on. Wigan 3, Sheffield Wednesday 2, a couple of 2-2 or 3-2 draws in the mix there as well. No nil-nils so far. In fact, every team.
Only QPR failed to score today. There are a couple of games tomorrow, of course, which will be on this service as well. I think I myself am doing the Leeds game at 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. Certainly looking forward to that very much. But at the moment here at Bramall Lane, it's still been a very interesting game to watch because you certainly see the intent from Sheffield United, but they're just lacking in that finish in the final third, really, and they're just giving the ball away as well.
Yeah, a little bit scrappy it's got from Sheffield United as well. They're not dominating the possession as much as they were 5 or 10 minutes ago. And you have to give the credit to Swansea. They're working hard and they're frustrating and defending really stoutly. It's been a good away performance, you could say, from Graham Potter's side so far. He's certainly got his team well drilled as to get a little bit of possession in the middle of the park. It's just that little bit of quality. You're looking at Chelina, players like that for Swansea, John Fleck probably to get on the ball for Sheffield United. We haven't seen enough of those flair players.
No, certainly not. And Sheffield United now win the ball back in midfield, trying to push forward down the right-hand side. The ball is headed away after a pass to McGoldrick. Second ball is with Bulldog, though. Can still keep the move alive. Just plays it short to Evans. Bulldog again, just trying to feed that ball into Clark. It's still kept alive here at the edge of the area. Now there's a challenge as well. I don't think the referee is going to be interested. He does point towards the... Well, has he pointed for a goal kick or has he pointed for a penalty? Certainly the way the Swansea players have reacted, it looks as though they were panicking a little bit about a penalty, but I think it has just been given as a goal kick. Maybe there was some suggestion that there could have been a goal kick.
Yeah, well, my first reaction is to suggest that Swansea are complaining that it possibly should be a dive. It's Fernandez who goes lunging in and Basham just goes down.
The Swansea man is already down, and then Basham just simply sticks out his left leg. I was going to say a la Jamie Vardy, because he's the one that painted that move a few years ago. He got sent off against West Ham for doing something like that, and it looks as though something similar there. But I'll tell you what, it's come to something when big strapping centre-backs like Basham must have learned to do dives like that in the box as well.
Absolutely, and for me, he should be booked. The referee's probably slightly unsighted, which is why he's in either way, whether it's a penalty or a dive. So from his point of view, you could argue he's made the right decision. The linesman, you would suggest, though, should probably have a better view of that. And certainly, if we had VAR in the Championship, which we don't, unlike at the World Cup, then potentially Basham could have been booked for that.
Yeah, certainly there was certainly an argument for it. As Sheffield United back on the attack, though, a ball lobbed into the box, which doesn't quite get to McGoldrick. Loose ball drops at the edge of the area, and we can finally say that Sheffield United have had a shot. It's not on target, but at least it's a shot on goal.
Yeah, strike coming in. It's a sliced volley over the top, isn't it? It's never going to trouble Christopher Nordveld in the Swansea goal. Couple of shots now from Sheffield United from the edge of the box that haven't got anywhere near the Swans goalkeeper. Still, that only shot on target is Martin Olsen's free kick for Swansea early doors, which ruffled the palms, shall we say, of Dean Henderson, who's pretty much been a spectator since.
He has, yeah. So hardly had anything to do at all. In fairness, though, Nordveld's had to keep an eye on the game a lot more because it's been closer to his penalty area, but there's still not been too much more faces in the crowd. Brian Dean this time, of course, who is I always get this stat right. He's the first ever Premier League goal scorer, wasn't he? Scored the first ever goal of the Premier League era once the First Division became the Premier League. That's always the thing that he's going to be remembered for, amongst scoring a hatful of goals, of course, for a number of teams. But I'm sure he'll be looking for Sheffield United to get a goal in this. this first half has been a very strange one, really, with the amount of possession that Sheffield United have had. It has taken them 40 minutes to get a shot away on goal.
Yeah, and we're still awaiting one on target from them. There just hasn't been enough oomph about them, enough creativity, enough trickery, if you like. And as we mentioned, we pointed out very early doors, the long ball that I think they want to use, they want to get Clark and McGoldrick involved. That's a little bit nullified because of the fact the two Swansea centre-backs, it's meat and drink to them.
It is, but Swansea have been caught in possession. Now a chance for McGoldrick. He gets the shot away. There is a deflection, so it is going to be a corner kick to Sheffield United, but it's just Swansea playing around with it too much inside their own half. Caught in possession there was the number 27 Fulton, and then the McGoldrick strike just gets a deflection away for a corner.
Yeah, not a bad strike from David McGoldrick. It opened up for him nicely. I think Fernandez got the nick on the ball for Swansea, but a chance for Sheffield United to load the box. If you're struggling to create, set pieces give you your best avenue for a goal.
Absolutely. Evans is ball in towards the far post, just curling away. I think it was O'Connell who tried to get a head back towards goal, but it was always looping wide.
Yeah, he's always the target, it seems, Jack O'Connell, for these set pieces. It's a decent whip delivery into their box, takes Nordveld, the Swansea goalkeeper, out of the game. But again, O'Connell perhaps just arriving a little bit too early. He's caught behind that, he's caught in front of the ball, and he can't adjust his body and head the ball towards the target. But as I say, if you're stripping straight from open play, set pieces is the avenue to go down. Sheffield United have a couple of opportunities, and I don't think the balls into the box have been that bad, really. I just think the players in there haven't been timing their runs, haven't been able to get on the end of them.
No, they haven't. And I think, as you say, it's a combination of the runs perhaps not being quite right, and also some of the possession. You can't say that they've been slow in their possession, but perhaps just a little bit too predictable. Swansea able to just close up the penalty area and stop any kind of moves into their box. As I said, it took a very long time for Sheffield United to get any kind of shots, but they've still not had a shot on target in this first half. But back inside his own half there was Joel Asoro. He gets caught in possession. Oh, the ball is now with Leon Clark. Clark just trying to skip away from Van der Horn, and he does. He plays a square ball to McGoldrick, who's just a little bit too far away from it, even trying to sort of slide across to keep it in possession, but he couldn't do it. Now a chance for Swansea to go on the counter, and here is Martin Olsen down the left-hand side. He's already got McBurney to aim for. His ball into the box, doesn't find McBurney. It's a bit of a strange touch though from Ender Stevens, and he sort of slices that ball across his own penalty area, and it needed John Egan's clearance back towards the halfway line. Sheffield United keep possession. The ball over the top now for Leon Clark. Oh, that was a good ball as well. If that had just had maybe 5-6 yards less of pace, then perhaps there would have been a bit more doubt with Nordveld, and Clark could have been there first.
Yeah, it's the first time of the space really in behind the Swansea defence, but Clark isn't the speediest, and he couldn't quite get onto the end of that ball over the top. At the other end, Swansea counter-attacking away, but it very much looks like the Swans are set up to defend first and perhaps even play for a point in this match, because there was again no one up in support, only Oliver McBurney in the box, and it would have taken a really pinpoint ball for Olsen to pick him out.
Pinpoint ball, and also almost static defenders, really, because you say there's only one striker for 3 or 4 defenders, and no cross really should get to him directly. There should always be a defender or two who can get there first. We're into the final minute of regulation time in this first half, but I expect there'll be a minute or two of a stoppage time as well. That might be a free kick to Swansea as the ball is played forward. It was, I think it was Selina that went down, but the referee is not interested. It's not going to be a free kick, although a bit of a slice clearance in the end, so it should still be a throw to Swansea at the edge of the area. And it was Mackay, in fact, still asking the questions of the referee.
Yeah, there's an opportunity for Swansea. They've offered nothing as an attacking threat in half as of yet, but this would be a great way for them to go into the break. Again, not committing too many bodies forward from the throw-in. McBurney, the only real man in the box. Asoro trying to come into the far post. It might be a chance for Swansea effort. Asoro save comes to McBurney, who goes down in the box, but the referee has long before blown his whistle. I'm not quite sure at what point there whether Asoro, if he got the ball into the back of the net, that would have stood, or whether the referee had already blown.
I think the referee had decided that Asoro was the one who'd committed the foul. Let's just see. It's a. Oh, he's. Oh, I tell you what. I mean, I suppose it does catch him on the bicep. Whether or not there's intent, whether or not he knows it. Well, yeah, he's got the arm out, so I suppose you could argue that he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, it's off the right bicep. He almost bumps it off it deliberately, doesn't he? So I think it's the right decision from the official. Still a decent save from Dean Henderson with his legs. McBurney, that would have been a question had it not been a handball. Was that a penalty or not on the follow-up? But at least it was Swansea trying to get bodies into the box. 2 players in there and trying to create an opportunity.
Certainly were, as we're into the final 20 seconds of this first half. There was only 1 minute of injury time added, and we've nearly had all of that now. So not too long to go now in this first half. Both managers, Chris Wilder and Graham Potter, with plenty to think about. I don't think either of them are going to be too pleased with the way the first half has gone, although Potter would say that his side have weathered the storm, and they've still got a lot more to offer in the second half, although Chris Wilder would say that his side can certainly be more direct with the way they've had their possession. But that is it for this first half at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United 0.
Right, so it's half-time 0-0. We've reached about 6-5 viewers this stream. It's only the first half, so thanks for that. If you are going to leave the stream now because it's half-time, make sure to come back in 15 minutes when the second half does start, because I will be still streaming. But I'm going to put on some music now whilst we wait for the second half to start, so you can stay in the stream if you want. But if you don't, that's fine, just come back in 15 minutes.
Listening to the 24/7 Drive Radio on Flair TV. You're listening to the 24/7 Trap Radio on Flair TV.
They saying I'm the man. Facts, bro. Lot of haters. Tell me where they at, though. I'm the new pop. All I do is rap, though. Want me on your song? Throw a couple stats, yo. Everybody wanna do the same thing, yo. That's why we ain't on the same page. Do my own thing.
Right, second half is underway. Before we get into commentary, shout out to Seth Butcher, who has been in the stream since the beginning. So thanks for that. I'm just going to get the commentary back up now.
For Swansea from a defensive point of view, but Graham Potter's side also lacked a bit of cut and thrust in the final third. The second half underway, and we'll be hoping for a bit more excitement as Sheffield United, the home team, kicking from left to right, have just lost possession, and in fact Swansea with Barry Mackay could break forward. Mackay skips beyond one challenge into the penalty area, but then I think he tried to do a little bit too much skill as Jack O'Connell came across, tried to flick in on his right foot, didn't come off, and he goes out to play harmlessly for a Sheffield United goal kick. So not the start to the second half that he was looking for, but just kick the game into life. It's Mazel Tomagari and Paul Shabakowicz talking you through the second half. And Paul, it's good direct running from Barry Mackay, and that's what we need to see him cross into the box from the right-hand side for Sheffield United. He's slightly overhit, but John Fleck will scamper and just about keep it in play. He's got Mike van der Horn for company, so into the feet of Stevens. Now Evans into a crossing position, works it down to the left of the leg of the Swansea defender and out to play for a Sheffield United throw-in. Has crossed into the box, deflects off Roberts. It'll be another Sheffield United throw-in. 2 minutes into this second half. Sheffield United 0, Swansea City 0. Stevens again in the crossing position, looking to link up with Fleck. Fleck is back towards goal, needs a little bit of support, returns to Stevens once more, into the feet of McGoldrick, who tries a quick spin, but Van der Horn wasn't falling for it, and he clears up to Asoro, tries to link up with McBurney. We haven't seen much of that so far from a Swansea point of view, and it's scrappy in the midfields. Eventually Swansea can settle into possession.
They do eventually. They win the ball back, and a chance for them now to push forward. A good ball as well over the top down this left-hand side, and a chance here for the chase, but the ball just bouncing away in the end.
Yeah, but it's a really loose piece of play as well from John Egan. He might have got away with it in terms of a free kick's been given in his favour. It was Selina chasing for Swansea. Egan came across. Didn't look like there was too much in it, in all truth, but Egan, as he fell to the floor, the ball ricocheted off him, and it would have been a cheap Swansea corner, but I think the free kick has been given against Selina, so a little bit off the hook there. One of the Sheffield United debutants, John Egan, one of 3 debutants in the Sheffield United starting lineup this evening. Swansea also having 3 in their lineup. I think Ben Woodburn, though, another potential debutant for Sheffield United, he's surely got to come on sooner rather than later.
I would expect to see him. I think that, as I say, he'll be chomping at the bit to try and get into the first team and show what he could do. He showed flashes of it for Liverpool last season, so this is a great opportunity for him, and him coming off the bench could be just what Sheffield United need, but they've obviously got to try and keep the game, well, at least goalless before then. They'll be looking, of course, to take the lead beforehand anyway.
Yeah, he's certainly got pace and a direct style. Woodburn would certainly contrast to what is up front for Sheffield United at the moment in the terms of McGoldrick and Leon Clark. It's Sheffield United on the front foot, though, down the left-hand side once again. Good feet from Stevens, but he's crowded out well in the end by a combination of Roberts and Fulton, and in fact the ball had gone out of play before then, so it'll be a chance for a free kick for Swansea. It's Van der Horn who goes back to his goalkeeper Norvelt. No, it is a throw-in. I thought that ball went out of play for a throw-in. Swansea tried to get the free kick, perhaps thinking it was an offside decision, but it is a throw-in, so we will go back out to the right-hand side. Swansea just chancing around there, perhaps.
Yeah, just hoping that it'll be a little bit easier to try and get a clearance in from a free kick rather than a throw. In fact, some of the Sheffield United fans behind the Swansea players there on the touchline trying to suggest that the Swansea had pushed the ball too far forward anyway, but they're still bogged down inside their own half. Eventually a long clearance, but it is just a clearance. It's not a pass from a Swansea City player, and Sheffield United back in possession.
Yeah, they can work it at the back. Henderson into the feet of Egan. Now Baldock can send the right-footed ball up the field, looking towards McGoldrick, who wins his head on, trying to link up there with Leon Clark, and it just doesn't quite come off as a bit of a clash of heads there as well. It was Clark jumping for the ball with Van der Horn, and the Swansea defenders come off a little bit worse in that one. Just looking at the two benches in terms of attacking talent on there is a couple of obvious changes there for both. We mentioned Woodburn for Sheffield United. Billy Sharp certainly knows where the back of the net is as well. Whether this is his kind of game or a poacher in the box, I'm not so sure. For Swansea, plenty of pace on there. Look at Jefferson Montero and Nathan Dyer in particular.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at Montero. He was signed by Swansea City after the excellent performance he had at the previous World Cup in 2014, and now finds himself in the English second division. I'm sure he hadn't imagined that his career was going to go this way. But flattered to this, I mean, he had injury problems as well, but there was always a problem with him being consistent at Swansea, I thought.
Yeah, he was out on loan last season as well to Tafe, and then back in South American football as well for the second half of the campaign. But a fresh start for him under Graham Potter. It seems he may well be one of the players who comes on as this second half develops. Van der Horn is back on his feet and okay, sends the ball out to Olsen on the left-hand side. He finds Mackay, who has to go back in towards Federico Fernandez. Sheffield United adopting a bit of a press. Fernandez looks to switch from left to right, but it's an ambitious one out towards Osoro, goes over his head and out to play for a Sheffield United throw about midway inside their own half. And if we're looking for the game to change drastically from the half-time break, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case.
No, it's as you were so far, with Sheffield United seeing more of the ball, not doing too much with it, and Swansea not really doing too much to try and disrupt that. They're just happy to soak up the pressure.
Yeah, not too much to shout about so far. Lee Evans, though, has it for Sheffield United. He rolls the ball back into the feet of Egan, and now O'Connell can take over. Just roll that across towards George Baldock. Sheffield United comfortable in possession, as you would expect. It's now Egan once more, can bring the ball up towards the centre circle, switches it right-footed out to the right-hand side. That's a really poor ball. It's telegraphed. Mackay reads it. He's got the pace to get beyond his man into the penalty area. It's behind McBurney. Comes to Osoro, edge of the box, strike towards goal. It's blocked, and it's well blocked in the end by a Sheffield United defender. That was the first time, really, either side has had an opening in the game, and you could argue Swansea should have done a little bit better.
They should have done. I mean, that certainly Mackay had Basham beaten for pace. I mean, all he had to do was flick it past Basham, and straight away you knew he was going to get there first. Did really well there to get past Chris Basham. But when he breaks into the box, just cuts it back for Osoro. He was appealing a handball. Nah, you're not going to get that one. The Sheffield United player had his arms down, really. It was a good block, and now Sheffield United trying to push forward.
Yeah, Mackay did really well. His ball, I'm not sure if he was aiming for McBurney, he was behind him. It came to Osoro. You just wonder, Osoro, get that out of your feet a little bit quicker, drive it to the penalty area. He might have had a better chance to strike towards goal, but it was a little bit too precise what he was doing on the edge of the box with a touch and almost setting his sights before striking, and that allowed the Sheffield United defenders to close him down, and one of them managed to get a block in. But certainly a rare opening in this match, and hopefully that's a sign of things to come in this second half. As Sheffield United driving forward through midfield, Clark's dropped deep to get involved, rolls it out to the left-hand side where Ender Stevens is waiting, now flicked into McGoldrick, he turns it round the corner, Lundstrom over the top, Clark's in the penalty area, strike towards goal, blocked off the heels of Fernandez. McBurney then gets the pieces for Swansea, and has he drawn a foul? He has. That's good centre-forward play from Oliver McBurney. Stevens is the man to bring him down, but half a sighter in the box there for Leon Clark.
Yeah, just that's all he needs. He had a very good start to last season as well, and he scored 5 in one game, didn't he? Or certainly 4 in one game, Leon Clark, I remember last season. And just on that occasion, the shot was charged down pretty quickly. But we're just getting another replay of that Swansea City chance. It was a very loose ball played, easily picked up by Mackay, and then the shot from Osoro was charged down.
Sheffield United 0, Swansea 0. But the Swans have had their best opening of the match. It came from a Sheffield United mistake. John Egan trying to switch the ball out to the right-hand side. He undercooked it. Mackay intercepted. He had the pace to goes past Chris Basham. His cutback was behind Ollie McBurney, but it found Joel Osoro on the edge of the box. He perhaps too long to set himself, and in the end the shot was well blocked away, but it was a really good opening for Swansea City. At the other end, Leon Clark's had an effort blocked in the penalty area as well. It's still quite a slow burner, this one, but just signs it might be coming to life. It's Sheffield United 0, Swansea 0.
It's still goalless. In the meantime, there was a chance for McBurney. He just got blocked at the edge of the penalty area. The Sheffield United clearance doesn't quite reach the halfway line, so still a chance here for Swansea down the left-hand side with Martin Olsen. He's got two Sheffield United players for company. Just rolls this one back, and chance now for the ball to be picked up here by Fulton. Now switches play back over towards the left-hand side. A chance here for Olsen because the ball didn't quite reach McBurney. But the ball is now cleared away. There will still be a strike from Selina, which gets a big deflection, doesn't even reach goal. But there's still a chance here for Swansea at the edge of the penalty area with Olsen. Just rolling the ball back to Fulton. Olsen again, and it's eventually out for a throw to Sheffield United.
Yeah, the attack peters out in the end, but it's been a positive 5 minutes or so from Swansea City. Started to get a little bit more on the ball. We've seen Mackay in particular have an influence on the game, but as of yet not too many strikes towards goal as George Baldock prepares to take this throw in for Sheffield United. Goes down the line, but Swansea pick up the pieces. Selina, good ball in field from him, and a chance for Swansea to drive forward. It's Fulton into crossing ranges, cross into the box is blocked. Half-hearted appeals there. It was blocked by a hand of Lee Evans, but the referee waves them away, and Sheffield United can clear their lines, but it doesn't stick with Leon Clark. Van der Horn picks his pocket. Now Carroll back towards Fernandez. He in turn goes out towards Olsen, left-hand side, just about on the halfway line. Looks to link up with Mackay, whose passing field was a little bit loose, and now Sheffield United can pick up possession, and they're forced now all the way back to their goalkeeper, Dean Henderson, who's still not really been tested in this game so far. He sends the ball long towards McGoldrick, not the header he was looking for, but Egan picks up the loose ball. Now Clark, who also his header wasn't the best, but it's O'Connell who now has it for Sheffield United. Evans in the middle of the park, rolls out to the left-hand side where he finds Ender Stevens, and Sheffield United settle into possession once again, and switch out to the right-hand side is a testing one for George Baldock, but they continue to retain possession.
They do. They just need to keep the ball now for a couple of minutes, Sheffield United, after a little burst from Swansea, although, again, no dangerous shot coming at the end of it. A couple of efforts that were charged down, but still no work for Dean Henderson, who's pretty much been a spectator all afternoon.
Yeah, both goalkeepers have been very underworked in the first 57 minutes of this game. Independent off-tube studio commentary, Sheffield United 0, Swansea City 0. The Swans in possession. Van der Horn drives it forward. Carroll involved in the link-up, and then Selina has a really loose pass from him, presented to McGoldrick. McGoldrick breaking forward, he's got Clark to his left, strikes towards goal, right-footed from the edge of the box, always just arcing wide of the target. Is Sheffield United's best opening of the match. Again, similar to Swansea's a few minutes ago, it comes from an opposition error. McGoldrick, I think he's within his rights to take it on, but I feel he should be at least hitting the target.
He should. I mean, Leon Clark just puts his hands down, sort of pointing almost towards his feet when that shot comes in, and say, you could have just rolled that to me as well. But as you say, once McGoldrick gets into that position, he would have fancied himself to get the shots away. It all starts with Selina and Carroll, just a very poor set of passes between those two, and eventually the ball is won by McGoldrick. But shots 7 from Sheffield United now, 3 from Swansea, but still that one shot on target from Swansea in the first half. It's impressive, though, bearing in mind that on 40 minutes, Sheffield United hadn't had a shot at all.
Yeah, we've gone from 1 shot in the match to 10 overall. I mean, none of them have been particularly eye-catching. McGoldrick's there was probably the best.
One on target, yeah, and that was straight at Henderson as well. So it's certainly not been a game of attacking, of good chances in front of goals. We said all the earlier games today, only one team failing to score in the 3 o'clock kickoffs, and that was QPR losing 1-0 away to Preston. But here come Sheffield United now.
Yeah, there's an opening. McGoldrick plays it in field, shot towards goal. That was a real chance. It's Lundstrom breaking from midfield. It all comes again from Swansea. Very sloppy in possession. Really poor throw from Roberts. Intercepted by Lundstrom. 1-2 with McGoldrick, and he should be doing a lot better from there.
He should be. I mean, Fernandez just dives in, which probably just does a little bit to throw Lundstrom. He's got to try and sort of place that ball, open his body out, and as he does so, he loses his balance, and the shot goes a long way wide. But that was a good opportunity for Sheffield United, coming, as you said, from a really poor throw from Connor Roberts.
Yeah, it might be mistakes that lead to these opportunities, but we're starting to see more and more for both sides. John Lundstrom, though, really should have done better, should have been hitting the target with that latest effort, but that could spur both teams on. Roberts has it. He rolls the ball down the line for Swansea. It's a chance now for the ball to be flicked in field towards McBurney by Fulton. Now Carroll looks to work onto his left foot, strikes towards goal. Tom Carroll, it's always rising over the top of Dean Henderson's goal, but it was a decent hit from Tom Carroll. Further evidence that this game is finally starting to open up.
Yeah, decent strike from Tom Carroll, as you said. Just gets underneath that one a little bit and sends it over the bar. But it was a decent strike from Carroll, and he certainly would have felt as though it might have looked on target when he first hit it.
Yeah, one of the consistent factors in this Swansea team. There's been a lot of upheaval over the summer, but Tom Carroll, one of the players that seems to remain and will be at the heart of that Swansea midfield for the majority of the campaign you would expect. Decent strike from him, but always rising over the top of Dean Henderson's goal. Swansea in possession now with a throw-in on the near touchline as we look. Olsen is the man who's about to take it. There are substitutes for both sides warming up. Ben Woodburn in particular is going through some stretches, so he could be imminent arrival for Sheffield United. In the meantime, Swansea with Mackay, he's been muscled off it by Baldock, who clears down the line. Fernandez gets there first though for Swansea. His ball forward is a poor one though, and comfortable for Jack O'Connell to bring under control, and now John Egan can settle into possession for the Blades once again. Ender Stevens made a run out to the left-hand side, which is initially ignored by O'Connell. He then sends the ball over when it's a little bit more telegraphed and easy to read by Roberts, and now space for Swansea to exploit as Stevens caught high up the pitch. It's Asoro, he cuts in field. That's a really poor ball though from him, easily intercepted by Basham, who can now drive forward from the back. He's carried the ball a long way. He's got the run of McGoldrick on his right-hand side. He finds the former Ipswich Town striker, who's low ball into the box. It squirms all the way through somehow towards Leon Clark, who's forced out of the penalty area. This attack is still alive though for Sheffield United. Evans gets involved, as does Stevens. Evans now resists the temptation to put the ball into the box, instead rolls it back to O'Connell. Now Lee Evans once again looking to dictate things, plays a 1-2 with Lundstrom, works a good pass out to the left-hand side where Evans is in space. Sheffield United biding their time once more. Lundstrom now turns one way then the other. Stevens flicks it in field, Fleck takes over, looks to pirouette on the ball. He's back outside the Swansea penalty area once again. It's good play from Sheffield United, low crossing from Evans, comes to the edge of the box, straight towards goal, and the deadlock is broken. It's George Baldock of all people, the right back, got up on the edge of the box, and it's a cool low finish beyond the outstretched dive of Christopher Norvell. That's what this game needed, a goal, and Sheffield United have got it.
Sheffield United have got it. They've had a good spell of pressure in these last few minutes, and it's a really good strike from George Baldock as this ball comes across from the left-hand side. He gets it, drills it right into the corner. Norvell can't get down and make the save.
The deadlock has been broken at Bramall Lane. It's Sheffield United 1, Swansea City 0. It's been a much better second half as a spectacle, and the goal is a brilliantly worked team goal from Sheffield United's point of view. George Baldock, the goal scorer, starts it off. He's out on the left-hand side, even though he's the right back. There's lovely link-up play down the left flank. Eventually, the cross comes in from John Lundstrom, pulls it back towards the edge of the box where Baldock has picked up a station, and it's a cool, calm side-foot finish towards the corner of the goal. Christopher Norvell in the Swansea goal gets a hand to it, but it's so pinpoint he can't keep it out, and Sheffield United have a lead in this game. They're 1-up against Swansea.
It's 1-0 to Sheffield United now, and a really good strike there from Baldock to give the home side the lead. And now it's a real test for Swansea City. They're making a change straight away as well, with Joel Asoro being replaced. We'll just wait to see. It's going to be Jefferson Montero. We mentioned him earlier, didn't we? Jefferson Montero. We'll see what kind of form he's in.
Yeah, it's a decent response, if you like, from Graham Potter. Obviously, Swansea have come here and have been a little bit defensive in their setup, but that's going to have to change now that they're a goal behind that George Baldock strike on 63 minutes, and Montero coming on. It's like for like in terms of position, you would say, for Joel Asoro. Asoro was a threat at times in the first half, drifted out of it as well. And Montero will be looking for a little bit more consistency from him. He certainly has the pace to frighten this Sheffield United back line.
Certainly does. That's the first strike on target from Sheffield United. We've had 9 shots from Sheffield United. That was the first one on target. Swansea have just had the 4, and their only shot on target was that free kick earlier on in the first half. 64 minutes gone here, and it's Swansea City still in possession deep inside their own half. Just waiting to see what kind of response we're going to get from Graham Potter's side. Long ball is played down the left-hand side, but that one is straight out.
Yeah, the game needed a goal. It didn't really matter from a neutral point of view which way it came. Sheffield United have got it, and surely now that will open the game up. Certainly Swansea have got to be more attacking. Sheffield United might gradually look to sit back, but as the home side, they'll be encouraged forward, you would suggest, by the Bramall Lane crowd. So we could be in for an interesting end to this contest. It's amazing what a difference a goal makes in a game. At the moment, though, it's a throw-in to Sheffield United, just about on the halfway line, which the goal scorer Baldock will take, understandably not in too much of a hurry. At Lundstrom, the man who set up the goal, offers on the halfway, but it looks like Baldock's going to go down the line, looking towards David McGoldrick, who's come across. It's not quite going to reach him. Olsen heads it clear. Basham is, who picks up the pieces in the middle of the park, not once but twice. And then Van der Horn's header for Swansea. It means Olsen has to scamper to keep the ball in play, which he does. Clears down the channel. It breaks now towards Fulton, who switches the ball across to the right-hand side. Roberts has it now. Van der Horn in a more central position, but Sheffield United not making it easy for Swansea to play their way out. Olsen has it, but having to go backwards to come forwards at the moment.
Good pressing this from Sheffield United. I mean, they were pressing quite well on Swansea anyway when it was 0-0, but now that they have that lead to protect, there's just a bit more spring in the step of Sheffield United. Swansea eventually do cross the halfway line.
Yeah, it's with Selina, who works across to the right-hand flank. What can Swansea do from here? Roberts has made a run forward. It's ignored for the time being by Mackay. Worked out by Fulton now to Connor Roberts, who goes infield to Carroll. Fulton still out on the right-hand side in a crossing position. McBurney waits on the edge of the box. It's not going to, on the edge of the penalty spot, I should say, but it doesn't reach him. But second bite of the cherry now for Jay Fulton. Goes infield towards Carroll, who tries to flick the ball around the corner, but it deflects off a Sheffield United heel and runs comfortably through to Dean Henderson.
Yeah, I mean, Henderson just lands on that ball, but as I said, absolutely no problems for him. Swansea need to do something to have that possession that they just had inside their own half. They just need to be able to get that ball into midfield rather than just keeping it with their centre-backs. Put a bit more pressure on this Sheffield United defence, but it's not going to be easy, as we said, because Sheffield United have got something to defend now, and they're pressing on Swansea even more.
Yeah, and they're a really well-organised team under Chris Wilder. Proved that last season. They're going to be a very difficult nut to crack in the time that remains. I'm just wondering if Swansea have a little bit more creativity to bring on in terms of midfielders in the middle of the park. Matt Grimes is a possibility. He was on loan at Northampton last season. Not real central midfielders other than him on there, though.
No, not really. I was going to say Nathan Dyer, but I suppose with Mackay and now Montero out wide, you've got your two sort of best wingers on already, with Asoro going off before. I think Dyer's going to be more of a sort of super sub this season, I think, really, was as he's sort of slowly getting on, really. He's been at Swansea City a very long time. He got promoted with them last time, didn't he?
Yeah, of course, had that loan spell at Leicester when they won the title. He's a Premier League winner. Nathan Dyer, but vastly experienced. He probably will come on, you would suggest, if the scoreline stays as it is, but maybe not for another 10, 15 minutes or so. Oliver McBurney's not happy with something. He's gesturing towards the sidelines. Perhaps he wants a little bit more support up to him. He can understand that as Swansea get into possession. Selina's now dropping deeper to try and get more and more involved. Rolls it out to Olsen, left-hand side. He goes down the line to Montero. Not the kind of pass that Montero wanted, and he's had his pocket picked by Baldock, trying to atone for his error. He actually does well, Jefferson Montero, and with the help of Fernandez, Swansea can now bring the ball clear. Olsen over halfway. He's been tracked all the way by two Sheffield United players, and it's well dealt with in the end. Lee Evans was coming across to win the ball back, but as I say that, Sheffield United give it away cheaply, which will give Swansea further encouragement. Fulton and Roberts combine down the right-hand side. Perhaps a chance for Mackay to take on his man. Now he dances into the Sheffield United penalty area. Left foot cross, flicks off a Swansea head, and it's tipped over superbly. Brilliant save from Dean Henderson. It's Fulton who goes into the penalty area with the header. He puts his hands on his head. I think he felt he'd scored there. Jay Fulton can't do any more, but it's a top draw save.
It is a top draw save. You could argue that Henderson might have been a touch of fault for getting off his line, but it's only really 2 or 3 yards off. It's just one of those looping headers that is just going to come in under the crossbar. He does really well to get his hand to it.
Yeah, first time he's really been extended in the game. The Manchester United loanee resulting corner into the box is dealt with well by O'Connell. It'll come back out from where it came, and there's an opportunity perhaps for Swansea to get the ball in, but there's good solid defending over there as well from John Fleck, who slides in and diverts the ball out of play for a throw into the Swans, which is closer to the halfway line really than it is to the penalty area, although they have worked it immediately up towards the penalty area. Doesn't quite find Fulton, but Mackay picks up the pieces. He rolls it into the feet of Selina. He goes infield to Carroll, who returns it to the former Manchester City man. Swansea trying to work an angle. They can't find it down the right-hand side, so Carroll switches to the left with Olsen, who plays a deep ball towards the far post. Too deep for the players in the box, but it will be gathered once more by Roberts. He goes back into the feet of Selina. Carroll and Selina exchange passes. It's better from Swansea. It's patient build-up. They need to try and work their way in behind the defence. We have passed the 3-quarter mark in the contest as Swansea sell for a throw on the far side. So I'll hand you over to Paul to take you through to the full-time whistle.
Thank you very much, Tom. And Ben Woodburn is being shown some instructions there by one of the assistants, one of Chris Wilder's assistants. So we are going to see the young Liverpool loanee at some stage in the very near future, I'd imagine. In the next couple of minutes, we are going to see Ben Woodburn to come on here for Sheffield United. Who do you think he'll be coming on for? Would it be one of the strikers or one of the wide players?
I think it'll be one of the strikers. They won't want to go too attacking with the 1-0 lead. I think it'll just be fresh legs, particularly if Sheffield United play on the counter-attack. His pace will come into play. Probably McGoldrick, he's the man who's just came in. Clark, captain, probably pulls rank, he'll stay on, and Woodburn will come on in McGoldrick's place.
We'll have to wait and see exactly what Chris Wilder has in mind. In the meantime, it is Swansea City trying to push out Connor Roberts' ball towards the halfway line. It's then Jay Fulton who picks the ball up from Mackay and goes back out towards the right-hand side for Roberts. Mackay then at the edge of the penalty area. One touch here from McBurney. A great chance here. There's going to be an own goal back. Tap it for McBurney. And Swansea City are level within just a few minutes. It was a lovely build-up there from Bersan Selina down the right-hand side. Breaks into the box. A couple of Swansea fans over the boards as well, but it is 1-1.
We're back on level terms at Bramall Lane. It's Sheffield United 1, Swansea 1. Oliver McBurney with his first real sniff in the match of goal, and he finds the back of the net. A close-range finish in the end after some superb build-up play. It was really neat stuff from Swansea City. They haven't played much football in this game, but Selina picks it up. He drives towards the penalty area, plays a lovely 1-2 with McBurney. There's a little bit of luck how it ends up back with the Swansea man. It's actually a Sheffield United player with a last-ditch challenge to deny Selina, who diverts it towards goal. Leon Clark. Henderson makes the save, but it falls from McBurney. Striker's instinct in the penalty area, and he side-foots the ball beyond the defenders on the line. It's 1 apiece at Bramall Lane.
It's 1-1 here at Bramall Lane. It didn't really take too much in terms of a Swansea attack, just a bit of possession. It is a striker going off for Ben Woodburn, so it's David McGoldrick who is off, and Ben Woodburn is on to replace him. See exactly how he fits into this side. I did see a substitute being readied by Swansea City as well. And yes, it is going to be Matt Grimes who comes on here for Martin Olsen.
Yeah, it's a change, an attacking change, you'd have to say, from Swansea. Grimes more of a midfielder, so it's going to be interesting to see how they set up. Cowell could potentially go out to the left-hand side. It could be a little bit of a change, a tinker in formation from Graham Potter, because this game is certainly there for the winning now.
It is, absolutely. That last attack from Swansea would have given them the encouragement that with 18 minutes plus a bit of stoppage time to go, Swansea City can certainly go on to win the game, and it's opened out here on the left-hand side for Jefferson Montero. Montero breaks into the box. He's got 3 players to aim for, but he cuts back and goes all the way to the goal, and then he tries to square it. The ball deflects off a Swansea, it deflects off a Sheffield United defender, and then flicks back off Montero. And I'll tell you why I know it flicked off Montero, because he doesn't even gesticulate towards the referee. There's not even a suggestion the referee might have got it wrong, and players normally in those situations are very quick to point out to the referee that he might have made a mistake. So the fact that Montero says nothing probably means that it was the right decision.
Yeah, it seems to be the case. No real complaints. That's always the giveaway, as you say. Goal kick to Sheffield United. They'll just have to get themselves going once again. You certainly said the momentum is with Swansea. Sheffield United need to get back to playing with the same authority that they did during the majority of the match until they managed to take the lead. Naturally, they've sat back after that, invited on some of the pressure, and it's resulted in Swansea looking their most dangerous and getting back on level terms relatively quickly. It really is anyone's contest. Very difficult to call how this game is going to pan out now.
Yeah, I agree. But that was interesting as well, how there was a goal kick to Sheffield. It's a goal kick to Swansea City, and the ball was there at the edge of the penalty area, and there were 2 outfield Swansea players next to it. They left it so that goalkeeper Norvell could come out and take the ball and then place it down himself. Now, if Swansea were 1-0 down at this stage, I'm pretty sure that one of those outfield players would have passed the ball to the goalkeeper. But the fact that they're level now just shows that Swansea are happy with the draw. They're not trying to get that winner unless it happens, just through possession. But they're certainly not rushing to try and get forward.
No, they're not. And I'm a little bit surprised because it's there for the tape that the momentum is with them. You'd think they would fancy, certainly for the next 5 minutes or so, that go for the jugular, try and get yourselves in front. I can understand final 5 or 10 minutes sitting back and accepting a good away point, difficult place to come, Bramall Lane. But for the time being, I'd suggest that Swansea would fancy themselves to keep going forward.
They certainly would. As Basham now under a bit of pressure there from Carroll, and Basham's clearance deflects off Carroll, so it is going to be a throw to Sheffield United at level with the edge of their own penalty area. 74 minutes on the clock, 1-1 in this late championship game. First weekend of the championship, of course, with that late winner in the opening game last night. Of course, Frank Lampard's Derby County winning by 2-1 away at Reading. 2-2 between Birmingham and Norwich in the games at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Brentford 5-1 against Rotherham. Bristol City 1-1 against Nottingham Forest. Ipswich 2-2 with Blackburn. Millwall 2-2 with Middlesbrough. Preston beating QPR by a goal to nil. West Brom, surprisingly perhaps, losing at home 2-1 to Bolton. And Wigan beating 10-man Sheffield Wednesday. The only game to see a red card today. Wigan beating Sheffield Wednesday by 3 goals to 2. It's 1-1 in our game, of course, and there are a couple of fixtures in the Championship. Well, there's just the one fixture in the Championship tomorrow with Leeds United taking on Stoke City. That game will also be available on our service. As the ball is now back with Dean Henderson. Long clearance from him up towards the halfway line. Are we going to see a winner in these final 15 minutes? Sheffield United now back in possession on the left-hand side. His substitute Woodburn just goes square. Ball now picked up and played out towards the right-hand side for Bulldog. And he's got an overlap as well from Basham, but Bulldog keeps the ball himself. Just prefers to hold on to it, lays it back now to Evans. Evans' ball, it's not too far away from Clark, who applauds the cross, but it was just getting away from him a little bit.
I think that's a brilliant ball into the box from Lee Evans. Really whips it in first time at pace. It's a striker's dream. Clark can't quite get there, though. It's just one of those things. It is a great ball. Clark reacts as quickly as he can. He can't quite get there on the stretch. Perhaps if he was a little fresher earlier in the game, he might have been able to, but and that's a really quality ball into the area.
Here's a good ball in, and a good opportunity now for Sheffield United to put some pressure here on Swansea, because they've still got quite a few players in and around the box. It was a Swansea throw, but from that throw, Sheffield United do win it back momentarily. The clearance goes into midfield here, and Lundstrom now has it for Sheffield United. Out towards the left-hand side, an attempt at a cross is charged down. It gets a deflection, and it's out for a corner kick.
Yeah, a little bit of pressure once again from Sheffield United for the first time, really, since they originally got their noses in front. John Fleck getting more involved once more. I'm surprised this is only the fourth corner of the game. I felt like they had quite a lot in the first half, but another opportunity for those big players to come forward from the back.
Certainly is, and they're all coming up from the back now, including a new signing, John Egan. But for the moment, we're just going to see how this corner kick is going to be taken from the left-hand side. 5, 6 players waiting in and around the penalty. Another 2 at the edge of the box as well, as the ball comes in now, aimed at that far post, as they have done most of the afternoon. Then a high ball there. Encouragement for goalkeeper Norville to come out and claim it, which he does. Just waiting for a few of his teammates to get a bit further forward. But it's been a decent spell this for Sheffield United. A quick response, really, having conceded that goal rather unexpectedly.
Yeah, that's it. And I must admit, I did expect Swansea to get on the front foot for the few minutes after getting back on level terms. That didn't prove to be the case, and you've got to give credit to Sheffield United. They reverted back to how the pattern was set before the goals went in, moving it around nicely. Swansea still have a little bit more of a threat. Montero's providing that down the left-hand side, and it's turned into what was a very slow burner. It's turning into a decent watch now.
It certainly is, and here come Swansea City now. Their first chance to get forward in a little while. Montero just plays the ball out. Selina tries to get a pass in on the run. That's a good ball as well. Still kept in play on this left-hand side by Grimes. He tries to leave the ball for Montero, but it's been, well, I was going to say cleared away. It's not really been cleared away, just played away towards the edge of the area. But Montero keeps this in play for Swansea. Bit of a lunging tackle to go in on Montero. It missed him. Referee gives the advantage. Montero still keeps the ball in play, gets away from Bulldog, and then a cross into McBurney, and McBurney's header. Well, the angles were against him there. He sort of crouched down and tried to sort of flick that ball towards the far post. And I tell you what, it wasn't far away from being 2-1 to Swansea City there. Great work from Montero.
Yeah, Montero making a difference is coming on. He just didn't give up. He's got the pace to hurt any defence. Bulldog thought he had the measure of him. He didn't. Montero nips in towards the byline, cross into the box, and it's a really good effort from Ollie McBurney. He's going back towards goal. He's got to generate the power, the direction all himself, using those neck muscles. It's always just arcing wide the header, but it was a really good effort. Good play all around from Swansea City.
It is attacking change here with Lundstrom going off and Billy Sharp coming on in his place.
Yeah, attacker for our midfielder. Sharp will go on there. Maybe Woodburn will just drop out wide ever so slightly, and Sharp will partner Leon Clark up front as he did for the majority of last season. So yeah, it's not quite a last throw of the dice from a Sheffield United point of view, but you can see they're the team that, in terms of the two managers, they're the ones that really want to go for it and go for the win.
Absolutely, yes. A third on the list of 21st century English goal scorers there. Billy Sharp behind Lambert and Rooney, so certainly in a very good goal scoring company there. Bearing in mind how many goals those gentlemen scored. Well, Rooney, of course, only in the Premier League, and Lambert across all divisions Certainly was a prolific goal scorer in his time. And Sharp, certainly spending most of his career in the Championship, has scored an absolute hatful of goals with the number of clubs that he's been at, and he's going to be hoping to get a good start in this season as well. Of course, now on off the bench for the last 11 minutes, and his side have just won the ball back as well in midfield. A chance now for Sheffield United to try and push forward. Their first thought is to go back. They'll be aware of the fact that Swansea have certainly shown a bit more intent since that equaliser, so they have to be careful as well that a game which they've controlled for most of it, they don't suddenly end up losing.
Yeah, that's it. It's the stick or twist for both teams in terms of, do they want to go for it? Do they want to start the season with a victory, or do they both at some stage settle for the point? As we already suggested, Swansea already seemed like they would take the point now if it was offered to them. Sheffield United, as the home team, will probably want to push forward and try and get the winner, but they themselves, as you get into the last 5 minutes, may think this is a decent point at the start of the season. We haven't lost the opening game, and it's against a freshly relegated side, one of the teams that have been touted as potential challengers to go straight back up at the end of the campaign. So they may settle as well at some stage.
Absolutely, yes, and it's always hard to predict, isn't it, after the first game exactly how it's all going to look. But certainly the signs are that Swansea City have tried to keep as many, or certainly a nucleus of that team from last season. Although they have lost a couple of outfield players and Fabianski that we mentioned, but certainly still a lot of experience in that team, and of course they'll be looking to bounce back. First time of asking, but it is a very, very difficult thing to do. That has been proven in previous seasons, that it's usually one team that can manage it, if any at all, to bounce straight back after relegation. Here comes Sheffield United though now, trying to go on the attack again as a long switch ball out towards this right-hand side. Bulldog keeps it in play, then goes back in towards Basham, who's under a bit of pressure as well, just having to play this ball back. And Swansea City now doing what they can just to put a bit of pressure here, but eventually it is Lee Evans who goes all the way back to Henderson. And the home side can start again from the edge of their own penalty area. Just about 8.5 minutes to go before we hit injury time in this game. Ball now over on the left-hand side with Ender Stevens, just plays it back into Basham, and now Egan. John Egan now just moving forward with the ball, sends a high ball now over the top, looking for Clark, and it's dealt with, but the loose ball is still in Sheffield United possession, Woodburn to be specific, and he's got a chance now to try and get this ball into the penalty area, or at least keep his side on the attack. He chips it into the box, but that one is overhit. It's straight into the arms of Norville, who just rolls it out towards the right-hand side.
Sheffield United 1, Swansea 1. Still time for either side to go on and win this game. Sheffield United probably looking the more likely in terms of possession. They've made attacking changes with Ben Woodburn and Billy Sharp both coming on, but it's actually Swansea who've came closest. One of their substitutes, Jefferson Montero, has looked really lively down the left-hand side since entering the fray. He didn't give up as he ran towards the byline, got the better of George Baldock, the fullback for Sheffield United. Cross into the box, found McBurney. It was behind him slightly, but it was still a really good strike towards goal. That was just wide of the target. Swansea have just hit the bar as well with a really audacious right-footed effort from the edge of the box. All to play for, 1-1.
It's still 1-1, and it is Sheffield United breaking through now. Oh, and that's a shame. I think it may have been Woodburn that unnecessarily went for that ball. It was a pass over from the right-hand side from Bulldog, and he was looking to try and get Leon Clark in on the left-hand side, and Woodburn just stuck a leg out to try and control that. He didn't quite do it, and in the end, the chance was wasted slightly. Bit of a shame, really, because I think that probably was meant for Leon Clark. But now the ball is back in Swansea City possession here with Van der Hoorn and Fernandez. Plays the ball up towards the halfway line. One touch there from Tom Carroll, but it's been quickly dispossessed. And now a chance here for Sheffield United to go forward, but the ball out towards this right-hand side is too quick, and there was no chance really for Billy Sharp to keep that one in play.
Yeah, it'll give us an opportunity to look at that crossbar effort from Swansea once again. Swinging by Montero, again involved. It is a right foot effort on the chest, brings it down. Barry Mackay, who's had a decent game when he's been able to get involved, and he hits the ball on the volley. It's beaten Dean Henderson, all ends up, and it rattles flush off the middle of the crossbar. Very unfortunate from Mackay and Swansea's point of view, but again, a moment of quality.
Absolute moment of quality, and that's how quickly this game could have turned, considering how well Sheffield United have played. Well, certainly how well they've controlled the game. It's difficult to say how well they've played, because for all that possession, certainly in the first half and at the start of the second, they struggled to create any chances at all. But since then, it has opened out somewhat. But Swansea City have opened out somewhat in the meantime as well. And Deanda is going to be coming on here for the visitors now. Yeah, number 30. Jan and Deander coming on here. It looks like it's going to be... Is this McBurney going off, is it? I think he's had... certainly Jan Deander's going to be coming on here. The 90-off foot is Jay Fulton, in fact, is going to be going off. So this is an attacking change here with Deander coming on for the final 6 minutes or so.
Yeah, it is, and maybe just underlines Swansea's lack of depth within their squad at the moment. They've got a number of players missing. There's a lot of questions about one or two that may be leaving before the close of the transfer window, but it's a chance for players like Dehander to come on. We've seen Grimes as well before him. A chance for them to show their worth in the time that remains as Montero comes forward once again.
Great chance here for Montero at the edge of the penalty area, just skips back onto his left foot and then plays the ball across. It's taken down on the chest. It's a heavy touch. It's going to be a penalty, surely. There's no need for the penalty because the ball deflects to Deander, and his first touch on the ball is a winning goal potentially here for Swansea City with just 5 minutes to go.
Swansea have turned this game on its head. It's now Sheffield United 1, Swansea 2. The goal scorer, Jan Dehander, with his first touch after coming off the bench. Jefferson Montero, though, has been superb since coming on. He has to take a lot of the credit once more. He takes on his man, John Egan, leaves him for dead, gets towards the byline. Left-footed cross is good. It finds Barry Mackay, whose touch is actually heavy. He then draws a foul. The referee surely would have pointed to the spot, but he allowed a brief second of advantage, and the ball broke to Dehander, who with his right foot rifled the ball through the bodies into the back of the net. His first touch, as I say, in the match is Sheffield United 1, Swansea 2.
It is. What a good... Montero has been such a big player here for Swansea in the second half. Great finish from Dan. He got a deflection actually after he struck it, but the former Liverpool man, Jan Deander, is now ironic, of course. Ben Woodburn of the Liverpool low knee coming on for Sheffield United. His side are now 2-1 down. Deander, actually signed by Swansea from Liverpool at the end of last season, is now potentially going to get... Well, it's his first senior goal and potentially a winner here for Swansea in a game where they've struggled to get forward for long spells. Chris Basham is off here for Sheffield United. The third and final change being made now by Chris Wilder, and it's Mark Duffy on in his place.
Yeah, Duffy a wide man on, Basham one of the defenders, a defensive midfielder coming off. So yeah, it's all hands to the pump now from Sheffield United. Duffy will be there to try and supply the ball into the box for the likes of Sharp, Woodburn and Clark.
Absolutely, but this will be a real shot in the arm for Swansea City, a game in which they didn't start particularly well. As you said, a couple of sort of less known players, a couple of makeshift players here and there. But make no mistake, Sheffield United, you would expect, are going to be one of the teams to beat this season. So to get 3 points off them away from home on the opening day is a very good result indeed.
Yeah, it certainly is, and yeah, Dehander stepping up, right place at the right time. But it's all about Jefferson Montero's introduction. It's important Swansea keep hold of him, and they've got to get him playing week in, week out, haven't they, as well? He's got the explosive pace, he's got the trickery, the quality. He might not be able to sustain it for a 46-game season. He may have periods where he's out of form for 3 or 4 weeks, but we know he's got the quality to hurt anyone in this division.
Certainly does. And now have Sheffield United got enough about them to hurt Swansea City in these final minutes, as we've got just 2.5 minutes of normal time left before we get into injury time. And the ball is now on the left-hand side. The ball played in towards Evans, just under pressure there, but to go square towards towards Bulldog here on the right-hand side. Bulldog gets the ball back as well. Just playing it with Duffy, the new substitute, out to Bulldog again. He's got a bit of space on this right-hand side. Plays it short to Duffy, who carried on his run down the right-hand side. It's back to Bulldog. Bulldog's ball in. Oh, and it could have so easily been an own goal. It's sliced off the knee there of defender. I think it was that Roberts there inside the box? I think it was. He needs that one, and it's a great save from Norvell to stop it being an own goal.
Yeah, it could have been a moment of embarrassment for the young fullback, but great goalkeeping from Norvell, who hasn't had much to do as the resulting corner comes in, headed towards goal, is over the top of the crossbar. Evans with his hands on his head. But yeah, Norvell, he's conceded the goal, which he got a hand to, but he hasn't had that many saves to make, and that came off his own player.
It did. It really did. That was a really dodgy moment there for Swansea City. Had goalkeeper not reacted to that, but Mackay just on our screens now. He's had a good game this afternoon, although I still think that the contribution from Montero off the bench has been huge for Swansea City.
Yeah, absolutely. You could almost argue a man of the match performance from Montero, even though he's only been on the pitch for a quarter of the game, just because of the influence he's had when it's mattered with the 2 goals. He's stretched Sheffield United defenders at every moment. He created that opportunity for McBurney as well. He's had a really good performance. He's completely lifted Swansea's overall play.
He has, and Swansea now have just got seconds to go until we get into injury time, but it is all Sheffield United again as they're trying to push forward now and get this equaliser. Ball on the right-hand side with George Bulldog. Plays it into Duffy, who's certainly seen a lot of the ball since he's come on in these last few minutes. He then loses the ball and then pulls his opponent down as well, so it's an opportunity now for Swansea to kill a few seconds.
Yeah, and undoubtedly they will slow things down now, taking age to take this free kick. It's been masterminded really well. You could probably got to put a lot of praise on Graham Potter's shoulders, because he's set up very defensively first and foremost in that first half. He's nullified the threat of Sheffield United. Then they conceded the goal, which was a good goal from the Blades, and they've been able to turn it and bring players on. He's changed, he's not been afraid to make substitutions, and you've got to say it's been a really, really good away performance from Swansea City.
It has, and now they know exactly how long the performance needs to go on for. We've got 4 minutes of additional time at the end of this game. That's how long Swansea have to hang on, or that's how long Sheffield United have to try and get an equaliser, as the ball is pumped along again down towards this left-hand side, headed out for a throw. An opportunity for Sheffield United to send some players forward. Taken quickly. Ball is back over on the left-hand side. Kept in play there by Evans. This goes to Fleck. There's an overlap as well from Evans. A chance to get the cross in, but he leans back and sends a ball which goes way over the bar, out for a goal kick.
Yeah, just when you need that moment of quality, it wasn't there from Ender Stevens getting forward from the left back. He had a lot of opportunities to put the ball into the box. His delivery has been a bit hit and miss, but at the vital moment there, it was certainly miss high, wide over the top, lose any of the growing pressure. As we see now on our pitches, a lot of the Sheffield United supporters are heading towards the exit door.
They are, yeah. We're just into injury time now, and they've obviously felt as though they've seen enough. They want to get a bit of a head start in terms of the traffic. But it's been a disappointing afternoon for Sheffield United, really. They've had more of the possession, but not really anything to show for it in terms of attacking threat. And then all of a sudden they found themselves at 2-1 down in the final minutes. And we'll just have to wait and see whether or not Swansea can hang on, because Sheffield United are seeing all of the ball at the moment. Here is Duffy again down the right-hand side, being well marshalled there, but he gets away from his man and then plays the ball down this right-hand side. It's kept in play across coming into the box, but that one deflects off. Swansea City want a goal kick. Sheffield United want a corner kick. Sharp claims that ball deflected, but the referee doesn't agree.
Yeah, he's adamant, Billy Sharp. It did look like it came off his thigh last there, and he's just more hopeful than anything else looking towards the officials, but it doesn't look like it's coming from Sheffield United. They've still got the best part of 2 minutes of stoppage time remaining to muster one last opportunity, but just the way this game's gone, the lack of creativity they've shown for large spells, you can't see it really happening.
No, I think, as you said, mind you, we didn't see the other goals coming as well, considering they came out of absolutely nowhere, so we could still be surprised with a late finish here from Sheffield United, but it does look as though Swansea have the measure of Sheffield United now, certainly the last few minutes, but a lot of possession for Sheffield United and no real danger apart from that deflected cross, which almost went in as an own goal.
Yeah, that was it would have been unfortunate from Robert's point of view. Swansea have managed the game really well, shown quite a bit of spirit as well, which has not always been attributed to Swansea. Certainly last season they've dug in and done well to come from behind.
But here come Sheffield United. The ball does reach the player down on the right-hand side. It gets the cross in as well. It was a decent ball in from Sharp, but it's headed away back inside his own half now as Dander, but he doesn't get any distance on the clearance at all. It just goes up in the air. Headed forward now by Clark, and then a shot from the edge of the area, charged down, still reaches Leon Clark. He then tries to get it into Woodburn. Decent challenge though from Roberts to put that one out for a throw.
Yeah, needed to time that perfectly, otherwise he was definitely giving away a penalty. Risky challenge from Roberts, but risk breeds reward, and it was a really well-timed one to clear the danger.
It was, and here comes Sheffield United. Well, we've got less than a minute now of injury time to go. The ball comes in, but it's quickly hooked away, and now it's a chance for Dander to just volley this ball down the left-hand side, and Montero is chasing this one. Montero is going to get there first. He tries to put an early cross in, and that's a bit of a disappointment there from Montero. Really, we've been praising him all afternoon, but on that occasion it was the wrong option.
It's completely the wrong option. Graham Potter will be tearing his hair out because Montero just needs to hold out onto that ball, take it to the corner flag, and Swansea have 3 points wrapped up. Now it's giving Sheffield United another opportunity to mount a late attack.
Yeah, it was a bit of a Hollywood finish there, an attempted Hollywood finish there from Jefferson Montero, getting a third goal with seconds to spare, really. As you said, he should have just taken that into the corner draw the foul, draw the throw on, draw the corner kick, and by the time that set piece is taken, the game's over. As it is, Sheffield United have managed to get the ball up the other end. They've won themselves a throw as well, which Bulldog takes. He gets the ball back, and now it's hooked in by Evans towards the far post, headed up in the air by Clark. The ball may still drop inside the penalty area. It does, but it's not much of a connection on the ball in the end from Egan. Bouncing ball, which drops into the arms of Christopher Norvell, and that will be it from this game at Bramall Lane. Relegated Swansea City have beaten Sheffield United by 2-1.
Right, so that is the end of the game. 2-1 full-time Swansea. I felt like a draw would have been a fair result, but Swansea do win. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We have gained over 30 subscribers today. And I'm going to end the stream in a second. Just before I do, we're going to have a look at the table after that game. Some reason the thing's not loading, but whilst it does load, I will be doing 2 streams tomorrow for Chelsea v Man City and Leeds versus Stoke, so make sure to turn on notifications and subscribe so you get notified when I start doing the Man City Chelsea stream. So as we can see the table, Brentford top, Wigan in 2nd, Bolton 3rd, Derby 4th, Swansea up to 5th. Preston 6th, Birmingham 7th, Blackburn 8th, Ipswich 9th, Middlesbrough 10th, Millwall 11th, Norwich 12th, Bristol City 13th, Nottingham Forest 14th, Aston Villa 15th, Hull 16th, Leeds 17th, Stoke 18th. All 4 of them teams haven't even played yet. Sheffield Wednesday 19th, Reading 20th, Sheffield United 21st, West Brom 22nd, QPR 23rd, and Rotherham in last place. So thanks for watching the stream. Make sure to subscribe. We are nearly at 550 subs, so if you can subscribe, that would be much appreciated. So thanks for watching. Let's see the likes and stuff. How much likes did we get? No, I did not mean to open that. We've got 15 likes. That's pretty decent. 4 dislikes. Probably didn't read the title where it says live commentary, not live HD. But anyway, right. How much? 534. I'll take that. That's 30. That's around 35 subscribers in the last 24 hours, which is pretty decent. And with the Premier League starting next week, I should get a few more because there'll be more people watching those streams. So, the maximum amount of people on this stream was 91 I saw. So thanks for that. And not 100, but really close to. A shout out to a couple people that have been in the stream the entire time, pretty much. Green Gamer YT been here since the first half. Trapinski also been there since the first half. Seth Butcher, he's been there since pretty much the beginning. Mark Richards, he's been there for like an hour, so thanks to all you guys. And I'm gonna end the stream now. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow for the Community Shield final and League Stoke.